Hello, I'm just here doing a book collection and or a partial book collection. These are just some favorites of mine. So there's going to be paper sounds and book sounds, and my little fountain is running here, so you might hear some little water trickling. We have my little galaxy lamp changing colors over there, hopefully soothing, and of course the blue light behind here. Anyway, enough about the lighting. So let's get started with one of the books I'm actually reading right now. I've read before, but I love this book so much that I own it and I don't mind reading it again. And it is Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. So let me move these out of my way. By John Bronte. It is about murder mystery and different interesting things in Savannah, Georgia. I won't give anything away because it's more of a murder mystery. It's definitely not horror, anything scary, nothing that's going to keep you up at night, but definitely going to keep your interest. I love this book. It's a good size, and it's definitely not a boring read, which I look for and I love. So I love that art. But it's called Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. So, let's take the decent length, and there is my bookmark. Snowboarder sticker, Colorado. I live in the Rockies. And one of my bookmarks, the Bible verse here. I love those. But yes, I do love to read whenever I have time. It's been something I've loved to do ever since I was a child. So this is book number 1. Then we're going to go on to, I have a 7-piece collection of the Bronte sisters. So we'll start with what's on top, no particular order. This is Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. She's the most famous of the Bronte sisters, I would say, because she is responsible for, Emily Bronte, just because of Wuthering Heights is my actual favorite. But Charlotte Bronte is probably the most famous because of Jane Eyre. So, but I actually really love Wuthering Heights, which is done by her sister Emily. But this is the book Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. A little less known. I've read this once, and I need to read it again to remember more, and it was good enough to read again. I do remember that, so I need to go back and go through these. I love all the Bronte sisters, very interesting women, and I love their books. I love the graphic on these sets. Just a very nice quality set, even though they're paperback, and they do come in a case to hold all 7. I'm just currently using it as a stand for my camera. So real quick peek at it. That's what it looks like. Wuthering Heights, Charlotte Bronte. That's what it comes in, a little 7-piece pack like that. So okay, we'll go to the next one, which is my absolute favorite. This is my favorite book, my favorite movie, and yes, my favorite version is the one with Tom Hardy in it. And I forget her name, but it's actually the woman that he ended up marrying in real life. learn something. Anyway, amazing version of the movie, an amazing book by Emily Bronte, beautiful graphic of what looks like, the Moors, and well, their housemate was supposed to be nicer, but anyway, who knows. But yes, anyway, it's a really, really good book. This one has a little bit more wear on it, you can see, because it's my favorite. It's not just because it's short, it's just something about Heathcliff and this story, and just, it's very tragic, to say the least, but it's tragic in a romantic way, and I guess I'm just all into that, so. Excuse me. We will go to the next one, which I don't know as well either. I need to read again. Villette by Charlotte. Charlotte's the most prominent of the sisters, like I said. She definitely wrote the big portion of the books and the larger books. And because she wrote Jane Eyre, she'll forever probably be the most significant of the Bronte sisters, even though, like I said, Wuthering Heights is just so good. Very, very interesting story. I remember Gentle Whispering said that she likes books flipped the one way, and then she also liked them flipped the other. I kind of get that. Go to the next Bronte, which is another Charlotte. This is a little shorter for her, The Professor. It's a good book as well. They're all good. They're all worth owning and checking out if you have not checked out all 7 of this collection. Because when I first went looking for the Bronte collection, I could find like a 4-piece, at most I think a 6-piece, but mainly it was a 4-piece. And it was very expensive for the 4-piece, and then I found a 7-piece of all of them, and I just jumped on it, and it was actually very affordable. Here's the infamous, or not infamous, because that's a bad term, kind of. The very famous and lovely and wonderful, I love the, I think it's 1995 movie, I can't remember. But I love one of the movies, and I love this book. This is such a good book. Yes, and it is, whenever the movie's done well, it's done right. Of course, it doesn't have everything in it, but I still just love it. The romance that was written back in the earlier 1800s, which most of these, and sometimes I think late 1700s, I could be wrong, but I think early 1800s, it was just very romantic, very romantic. Men were, chivalrous, all that stuff. So this is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. She is, I have 2 from her, so I feel like she's lesser known. I don't hear a lot about this book. Really why I wanted the entire collection, because I like to honestly compare the sisters too and see how similar and actually how different the writing is, because they're quite different. But anyway, I'll go this direction, and a few pages that direction. And then there is also, I feel like, which is a lesser known one, unless you're just a Bronte fan, which is Agnes Grey. It's a short book. I would say pretty easy read. Definitely worth checking out. If you haven't read all the Bronte sister books, like I said, this is definitely worth looking into. It's just, again, very interesting look at the times as well, because everything is written from a different era. So I have a couple copies of 2 of Jane Austen's books, but I'm going to show you them anyway because they're different for a reason. 2 of them are very vintage. first one I found, I think these were found just at used bookstores, thrift stores, something like that, used bookstores. This is I believe on the inside, if I remember correctly, a 1960s version of Pride and Prejudice. And just look at that. Beautiful, beautiful art. Pride and Prejudice, again, is another absolute favorite book of mine. Absolute favorite. And then also can be done well, amazingly well in movies. Some people might fight me on this, but my favorite version is actually the Keira Knightley version. I don't always say that about her, but that movie I love. Mr. Darcy is just one of the most romantic characters ever, so it's a very, very good book, very good read. I don't typically use this one as the one I read because I have a hardback that's not vintage, but I like owning this one and the art, and sorry about that. It's just interesting to have a vintage version, and it didn't cost much to have. So I have one more vintage version of a Jane Austen, and it's another pretty well-known one of hers, and it's Persuasion. I believe this one is also 1960s. I can't remember. The art might have been. Anyway, they're definitely vintage though, and it's the like it says, complete and abridged, because apparently they shorten it for some people. Anyway, I love these vintage versions. They're really more just to sit and to have, because like I said, I have them in modern day hardback versions, and that would be this set right here. Which, don't get me wrong, I love this set. But I do think one thing's funny because it's a book, and you think that most things in books are going to be spelled correctly, but you'll notice some of it has faded since I've got it and I've had them. But if you notice, it says love and friendship. This is FREINDSHIP. And that's just how all of them were sold, so you couldn't get it without the typo. And I think it was $35 for all the books, so I was like, well, I'll just deal with the typo. It comes in a beautiful hard box. Oops, I'm so sorry. That's so loud. I'm so sorry. So apologize for that. Let me get these things out of my way so I'm not getting noise. Okay, so we're going to take out the love and friendship. It's kind of hard to get these out. They're pretty snug. And as you can see, they're printed with this beautiful, each one has their own pretty different kind of print here. And they're just beautiful hardbacks that are hard to mess up or get in bad condition or anything like that. They come with the string here, which is important to me. I really like that. This one is gorgeous as well. It has a beautiful blue color with this floral print, Sense and Sensibility. Again, we have the bookmark. And they're just beautiful, beautiful books. There's one of my bookmarks because I always had extra. I think that was a pamphlet that came with it. I ended up using it as a bookmark. Here's another one with cute little keys all over it called Northanger Abbey. This one I don't hear as much about, except for by Jane Austen diehard fans. It's a little shorter than some of them. I need to read this again. Some of these I have not read since I was quite a bit younger, so I need to reread a few of the ones that are not as popular, Pride and Prejudice and Wuthering Heights and things like that, and go read the ones that weren't my absolute favorites that I know by the back of my hand. Mansfield Park, another beautiful book. The only problem with these books, like I said, is that one little typo. If that wasn't there, these would be just perfect, but I didn't, it's not that big a deal. They're still gorgeous books. And there's nothing else as far as anything wrong with them, as far as typos on the inside or anything like that. So, here's more of Jane Austen. So this one has beautiful swans on it. This is Pride and Prejudice. So, I mean, I don't, this is probably everyone's favorite, but it really will always be my favorite because it's just such the perfect romance story. Beautiful, way of courting and just, not the way things are done these days, most of the time. This has a unique chair design on it. This is the book Emma. I also have the movie for this, the Gwyneth Paltrow version. I don't know, there's probably more versions, but it's okay. I definitely like the book better. I've read it off and on since I was a kid, but I remember this one quite well. It's a very, very good book for sure. Also, if you are into wholesome reading, which sometimes I like horror, sometimes I like things that aren't so wholesome, but sometimes you do want that, you want to go to bed with peace or whatever, these books are definitely the ones to do that. You can go to bed with a clear head with them. And this is Persuasion, another very famous Jane Austen book with a beautiful feather design over kind of an olive green khaki. Beautiful design. Love it. Love the entire collection. And of course, I said it comes in this beautiful box. Keep them all. And then for today, we only have 4 more books. We're going to start with this. Actually, let's do this. This is a book written by my late grandmother on my father's side. It's called Had He Been a Stranger. Part fiction, part not. And written by Sue New, my grandmother. And it's a very interesting book, I'll tell you that, but it is a good book. It's available on Amazon. But like I said, she's no longer living. I'm actually not even sure where the proceeds go if anybody buys them. I have no clue. But I'm glad to have a copy because I have no idea how long it'll be in print with her being passed away. I don't know. I have this one kind of joke book, although I am in Colorado, so marijuana is legal here. Sorry if that offends anybody. It's just the truth. And then I have this cute little... It says a psychological, a physical in that way, historical, botanical, and cultural trip through the world of cannabis, a scratch and sniff book of weed. This is dope. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to keep banging. I'm so sorry. It's hard to hold things at this angle. Anyway, this is sort of just a joke, goof book. I thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, it talks about the good, euphoria, sleep. The bad, cottonmouth, red eye. It just kind of puts it in simple terms. Anyway, I thought that was cute and just interesting. It's kind of like a hard book. Every page is hard, like as if it's a kid's book, basically, which is kind of weird, actually. And then I only have 2 more books, and they are both, some people may not like this. I don't care. They're both Bibles. One is very sentimental to me. Well, they're both sentimental to me, but one is my late grandpa's. He used it for years. It's an antique. It had gold-lined pages. They are now fading. And the gold lining, the gold engraving is fading here. But it's leather, and it is still in good shape. It's just been used a lot. And I love this book. Love the way Bible paper sounds, especially the old crinkly, because this is a used, maybe even has been damp before, because that's just how used it was by my grandfather. So I love the sounds of that paper. I love it. One more little tiny book that's sentimental I've had since I was born. This was gifted to me by a church, New Testament and Psalms. It is so cute. It is pink. And it's just adorable. I has a little bookmark, and it's kind of coming apart a little bit because I've had it since a few months after I was born, which is quite a while now. So that is the end of my partial book collection today. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope you're relaxed, and subscribe if you like. Please like if you would like any more videos. Comment if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see next. Thank you so much. This is Gentle Gypsy saying goodbye.